I'm working today with a group of kids from Newham, where I used to teach. We're studying poems from the first cluster of the poems from other cultures and traditions. We'll be looking to bring out the musicality of the poems and to have some kind of experiential approach to it. What's fascinating about limbo is the link between the people on the slave ship and the Catholic notion of limbo, where babies go when they've not been baptised before death. Look at your numbers. Put your numbers down. Remember your numbers. Right, who were the first man and women on Earth? Adam and Eve. Which one of them committed the first sin, the original sin? Eve. It was Eve. Be careful of ladies. The issue with this is, because we are all, every single person in this room is actually meant to be a direct descendant of Adam and Eve, we are all stained from the moment of our conception with our father and our mother's sin. So according to the Catholic Church, the moment you are conceived in your mother's womb, you're a sinner. The only way that you can ascend to the kingdom of heaven is to have these sins washed away through baptism, through what the Catholics describe as the gift of baptism. Issue: what happens to little babies who are born and then die before they're baptised? Yes?
They go to limbo.
Go to limbo. Sorry, what's your name, mate?
Niall.
Niall. What's limbo, Niall?
Limbo is in between heaven and earth.
OK, and who lives there?
People that haven't been baptised.
What do we think of the idea of limbo, which lasts for all eternity?
Not fair.
It's not. It doesn't seem fair, does it? Where's Brooke? Stand up. Over there. Now, hurry up. Right, call you out by number. 20. Up. Now. 21. 15. 17. Move over here. You and you. Up. All of you guys, over there, now, quickly. As tight as possible. You're not tight enough. Move in. Move up. Tighter, tighter to each other. OK, could you move backwards and move backwards? Right, this is the testimony of a guy called Reverend Walsh. He discovered a load of slaves on a slave ship. The heat of these places was so horrid and was so great and the odour so offensive that it was quite impossible to enter them, even had there been room. There were 517 creatures of all ages and sexes, some children, some adults, some old men and women, all in a state of total nudity, scrambling out together to taste the luxury of a little fresh air and water. They came swarming up like bees from the aperture of a hive, till the whole deck was crowded to suffocation from stern to stern. Right, we're going to do a little exercise. On the drum and the whip crack, if your number is 1, you shout out 1. The next whip crack, if your number is 2, you shout out 2. As you're doing this, we're doing this only so that you can remember the order. Remember the person who says the number before you.
1,
2.
25.
This is the kind of atmosphere you're going to have on the slave ships. It's hot, it's sweaty, it's filthy, it's dirty, and you're dying. Boil it down to one word to express how you would feel on that slave ship. Right, we're going to go through from 1 through to 27 with the drums. Brooke, what's your word?
Miserable.
Miserable. Every beat, you're going to say the word miserable. Who's number 2?
Me.
What's your name, sir?
Ramon.
Ramon. What's your word?
Sick.
With every beat from when Brooke starts, so we go 1, Brooke goes miserable. 2, Ramon goes sick. But you still say miserable. Do you get me? Yeah. Right, let's see if it works. Ready?
Miserable.
Sick.
Miserable.
Yes.
Sick.
Yes.
Sick.
Miserable. Miserable. Miserable.
How do the guys on the slave ships, how are they like the babies in limbo?
It's not fair because it's not up to them.
It's not fair. Why else is it like it?
They weren't given a choice.
Yes, there was no choice. There's no volition for the slaves or for the babies in limbo. Anybody else?
Limbo is a place of uncertainty, so the slaves do not know where they're going, so therefore they're unaware of where they're going. That's
a fantastically brilliant answer. Yeah. The babies don't know when it's going to end, where they're going, what's happening. The slaves are just in a black hole of cess and filth. The key is the uncertainty. Right, you can come back. Right, can I have Niall and Ramon, please, standing here, either side of this stick? So if you just hold it. Right, do you know what limbo dance is? It's a celebratory dance. They do it on beaches, and it's kind of a tourist attraction, where they go back underneath a stick. I did well there. Go back underneath the stick. If you touch the stick with any part of your body, then you're automatically out. Let's have 5 guys, please. Take it away. Go. Easy peasy. Well done. No, he touched it. Well done. Sit down. Oh! It's actually the way that the slaves came onto the slave ships. Okay? They couldn't walk on. In order to get in the gap, they had to bend their knees like that and go through. It was called the understick dance. And it actually portrays the slaves going into the hold of the slave ship. The deck and the floor were very close together. The title of the dance, limbo, comes from a derivation of limber, as in they had to limber up to actually get loose enough to get in there. Right, we're going to have the same 5 guys, please, over there. Right, everybody else, could you take a copy of the poem Limbo, which you've been given? Right, this is how we're going to read it out. Try and get it as the chant on a slave ship. OK, go. And limbo stick is a silence in front of me. Limbo, limbo like me. Limbo, limbo like me. Long dark night is a silence in front of me. Limbo, limbo like me. Stick hit sound and the ship like it ready. Stick hit sound and the dark still steady. Limbo, limbo like me. Long dark deck and the water surrounding me. Long dark deck and the silence is over me. Limbo, limbo like me. Stick is the whip and the dark deck is slavery. Stick is the whip and the dark deck is slavery. Limbo, limbo like me. Drumstick knock and the darkness is over me. Knees spread wide and the water is hiding. Limbo, limbo like me. Knees spread wide and the dark ground is under me. Down, 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 down. And the drummer is calling me. Limbo, limbo like me. Sun coming up and the drummers are praising me. Out of the dark and the dumb gods are raising me up, up, up. And the music is saving me. Hot, slow step on the burning ground. Well done. Sit down. Do that. While you're doing it, see if you can put a letter sound with your voice. What sound is this with your voice? That's good. Cool. Mark, could you do us some ring clicks, please? What letter sound do you think is that? It's a K. So what sound does that make? K, 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 K. This poem is very percussive. It's one of the reasons we got the drums. It's got loads of K sounds in it. K, 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 K. If there's loads of K's in it, if there's loads of consonants in it, then you could describe a poem as being percussive. For instance, long duck deck, long duck deck, K, K, K. You can get the K sound in 3 ways. Either a C, or a K, actually a C and a K together, which is a consonant blend. When you've got lots and lots of consonant blends in a poem, lots and lots of the same sound, then that is called consonance, and I'm going to give you a proper definition of it. Consonance is a repetition of consonants in words stressed in the same place, but whose vowels differs. Also a kind of inverted alliteration in which final consonants, rather than initial ones, repeat in nearby words. What do you know by the term alliteration? Yes, Alan.
First, letters in a word repeat.
Yeah, and alliteration is always consonants. So, for instance, B would be Billy Beaver's bum in Fulham Broadway. B, 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 B. Alliteration is consonants right at the front of it. Consonants, where consonants differs, is its consonant blends and consonant sounds right at the back of it. Why would the poet use percussive sounds, a collection of percussive sounds? Yes?
Most slaves were African, and Africa was famous for its drums.
OK, that's a very, very good answer. Yeah? Africa is quite famous for drums, and the slaves were African. Anybody else want to go anywhere? Nice.
I'm guessing that the chains and stuff dragging on the floor would make a sort of clicky sound.
It's fantastic. Really original. Yes.
As they were doing the limbo dance, the shackles rattling would go with the words of the poem.
Well, there would certainly be a rhythmic thing, wouldn't there? If you're going onto a ship like this and you're all chained together, what's going to happen? You're going to get a what? You're going to get a beat. Yeah, there's definitely a drum-orientated thing. Could you circle all the I's up to line 22, please? Count them as you're circling.
40.
Yeah, in truth, I've got 40-ish here. We'll read through it again. This time, we all do the limbo, limbo like me, but any other k that you come across, you go k. Let's do a first run through. And limbo, stick is a silence in front of me. Limbo, limbo, limbo like me. Limbo, limbo like me. Long dark night is a silence in front of me. Limbo, limbo like me. Stick hit sound and a ship like it ready. Stick hit sound and a duck still steady. Limbo, limbo like me. Long duck deck and the water surrounding me. Long, well done, and the silence is over me. Limbo, limbo like me. Stick is the whip and the is slavery. Stick is the whip and is slavery. Limbo. Well done. Drumstick knock. That's really good. Now this time we're going to go through it again, and every time you see an I, you'll go E, E, E. Okay? And limbo stick is a silence in front of me. Limbo. Limbo like me. Limbo. Limbo like me. What are we beginning to notice about the number of I's in it? There are shed loads of I's in this poem. Stick, hit, sound, and the ship like it ready. Why are there so many I's in this poem? Well, think about the sound of it. E, E, E. Is that a nice sound? E.
Pain. As they're being transported, they're being beaten, and when they're getting into the ship, they're being a lot of pain. So they're E. That's the kind of noise that they'll be making.
Okay, so every time they get the whip on the back, it's E. Yes, Alan.
It could be the chains creaking.
Fantastic, yeah. The point is that poets choose the words that they put on a poem. They don't just go, I'll have one of those, one of those, one of those. This will have been a conscious decision to have a poem smacked full of k sounds and I sounds. Why has the poet got this, what is called in poetic terms, it's like a chorus in musical terms. In poetic terms, it's a repeated refrain. Why has the poet got this stupid limbo, limbo, limbo like me in there? Yeah.
It's kind of like a repetition, like for you to get it straight into your head, like to know what it's all about.
Yeah, the repetition bears into your brain. Is that a good enough reason, though? Yes. No.
Slaves just had to keep going underneath the barrier, keep them doing limbo all the time to get in.
So give us that again, because that was so good.
Like the slaves had to keep on doing limbo all the time when they were trying to get into the slave ship because the barrier was so low. They probably had to sing like limbo, limbo, limbo.
So you're saying that they would actually have to have a slave song to get the rhythm together?
Yeah, or they would like time it wrong and they'd probably hit the head on the bar or something.
OK, so it was all timing actually getting into the ship. Anybody else? Why is this stupid chorus here? Have you got an idea?